What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. With our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Oh, JJ Wang. We are in week 16. I learned a podcasting trick this week. If you want people to not listen to your show, give it the wrong title. I was trying to figure out why our listenership was down this week. I wrote that we did a week 14 review show. So apologies
Nice.
to you, JJ Wang. I forgot to tell you before the show. I realized that prior. I was like, yep, way to fail the pod. So that's why we dipped like a champ. I was like, why is no one listening? No one wants week 14. So we are going to talk about week 16. It will be the name of the title. I've already created all this stuff. This is our Christmas episode. I have my elf ears. My in-laws gave me beard ornaments. I am on location. I'm so ready for you guys. I'm set up in my in-laws' basement. Are you ready for Christmas, JJ Wang?
Yeah, I am. I might not look like I am. I mean, definitely looks like you are, but I'm sitting at home, not in my Santa outfit, but you've got enough for both of us. I'm excited. I like Christmas, but excited to talk about all this nonsense we got going on.
Oh, it is nonsense. And we'd love to hear you all talk to us as well. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, comments, the website, thefantasycouriers.wixsite.com/website. I'm saying it all fast because it's all in the bottom of the podcast notes or the YouTube notes, wherever you're listening to us. Just send us a message. We would love to hear from you. Something you want us to talk about. Hopefully you're getting a good Christmas listen. This is our gift to you. If you are listening to us, check out the YouTube feed if you want to see my ridiculousness. I have beard ornaments and elf ears for the moment, and that's why he laughed in the opening. But we need to hear, I want some of your sage wisdom to get us started, more of your dynasty minute, because you are the most intelligent dynasty guy on the show by default.
That's right. I am the dynasty guy of the show. I mean, I'll take it wherever I can get it. Yeah. So last couple shows I've been doing like set from each position. Today's gonna be kind of different. I'm gonna do a pair of wide receivers, teammates, and then a running back. So I'm gonna do the receivers first. The teammates from Ohio State. The first one's Chris Olave. They thought he was going to come out last year. Decided to go back to school. Had a little bit of, had a good year, not elite like he could have. He's 6'1", 188. He's been productive all 3 years. 936 and 13 touchdowns this year. So, I mean, that's 13 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards. And he's in the offense pretty much the whole time. He's an elite. He's that elite route runner.
Wasn't he that guy Fields was throwing bombs to in the games last year?
Yes.
Games.
He's
This guy. Yeah.
So like he's a great route runner, like Jerry Jeudy type. You know, he's elite at that. Then the other guy, Garrett Wilson, 6 foot 188. He's a junior. He's more of an athletic type receiver. He's speed guy, good hands. He can go up and get the ball. This year, he had 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. He even had 76 yards, then a touchdown, and rushing. So like I said, so they're a great receiving course, so they work off of each other. Probably maybe first round wide receivers, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of wide receivers. Like it's going to be a little too early to tell. But the running back I'm going to talk about is like is a smaller running back. I'm typically a big running back kind of guy. This one's Kyron Williams. He's 5'9", 199 out of Notre Dame. He's got the good vision, the good quickness. Really he got plenty of bursts to get through the hole. But what's special about him is he's very good receiving back. That's where he makes all of his cash. But I mean, he does got 2,000 yards over the last 2 years, so 1,000 each season with 27 touchdowns. So I mean, he could definitely get in the end zone. But he does have his 77 catches for 672 yards over the last 2 years. That is a lot for a college running back. So if you're into that PPR kind of guy, he's probably gonna be the first one to come off the board with that kind of skill set.
It's interesting looking at him. Like you think of like the big bruisers might sneak out, but his scat back is what he might lean into as the person. I mean, there are more scat backs doing lead roles, but for him to jump out and do that's an interesting decision. Like not to maybe build up a little more next year, or See where he goes. But those are my kind of backs that I love myself. Those little scat back guys. But
Yeah, I mean, he's almost 200. So I mean, he'll probably put on another 5,
yeah,
10 pounds. I would guess. So I think somebody to look out for. I mean, I kind of watched a few games being in the ACC, so they get the local channels. So he's a good running back.
maybe I can get him on the cheap with all my non-dynasty picks I have. But moving from the future to the now, once again, COVID. I'm going to very quickly go through some of the devastating of the week and a couple of the injuries. Then we're going to jump right into this week's slate and talk about as much as we can over the next couple of minutes. But COVID, guys, and these are just skill positions. If you look through the COVID list, there are defensive tackles, defensive ends that will affect the offense because they'll have to put up more points, or offensive linemen and so forth out. But we're not going to go through all those. So we're looking at names you might have, or if you need them. Some of these guys, if you have them, you're probably not in the playoffs, like Sammy Watkins. COVID. If you have him, you're probably in a place. But Cole Beasley,
or if you're starting him, you're in trouble.
It's because some guy on your team has COVID. Cole Beasley, he's out for a good long time because some of these guys are going to hit vaccinated, some are not. But Beasley, we know, is not, because he's talking out about it. So he's out this week for sure. Still a lot of Browns are on the COVID list. So I wonder if they have it worse or not, or if they just haven't come off yet. We are recording this Thursday, so we can enjoy our Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Jared Goff, after that stellar week, hit the COVID list. I don't know if he's vaccinated or not. Some of these guys might pop back on until you listen to him on Sunday. Marta, MVS in Green Bay.
Go Alan Lazard. There we go.
Lizard. Brandon Cooks after his stellar week. Awesome. The Houston Texans are actually, most of theirs other than Cooks are defense. So their defense is terrible anyway. And then it's like a whole slew of defensive players. Kansas City's a big hit. Hill, Kelsey, Bell, Buckner are all out. Kelsey was earlier in the week.
So real quick, the Kelsey one is really disturbing because I really want Kelsey to play well, and I also need Kelsey to play bad at the same time. It hurt. I mean, it's just tough. He's a tough one for me this year.
That's what happens when you have 11 teams. It just
it's brutal.
Tyreek, I haven't heard anything about him coming out. That's a devastating blow to some championship teams. Like in my OG dynasty, a guy has Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. Good luck, dude. The backup to Kelsey's out, and no kicker could be good for Mahomes. Meaning they might go for 2 more often unless you sign someone. Bad one for
all time now.
Yeah, true. Bad one for you. Eckler is on the COVID list on that team. Guyton as well. Higbee hasn't come off yet, and probably the biggest one other than the KC guys of the week is Dal Cook. He's
definitely out, right?
Last I'd heard,
they said
he's got to be out.
They said he was unvaccinated, and he's got.
Oh yeah, he's doing it. Yeah, he's out.
So yeah. I'm really happy. I'm not happy that he's out, but kind of happy he's out.
Yeah. Luckily, my team with Dal Cook is done. I lost last week, so I'll take that. And then Kendrick Bourne in New England. Every tight end. Well, basically, the next team that got slaughtered is the Saints, Troutman and Johnson. So they have no tight ends. They have no quarterbacks. Taysom Hill, Trevor Siemian are out.
Ian Book is supposed to start on Monday.
As I said, they have no quarterbacks. We'll hit that one in a moment because it's making me very excited. Tyler Lockett is still on the list. I don't know if they're just waiting or if he got a bad COVID. Rashard Perriman, who was looking for a bump with Chris Godwin out, and Kadarius Toney is still in there. And there's other names that are going to pop up between us saying this, probably when I did the docket earlier today. Injuries this week to watch for Saturday. James Conner and Rondale Moore are game time decisions. Those are key cogs in that offense, especially after losing to Detroit. And Lamar is still not practicing. And luckily, Huntley looks good, but that doesn't do me any good because I don't have Huntley on my Lamar team. So it's
pick him up.
going to be a rough week. Any quick notes on these things, or you think we'll hit them as we jump through our Christmas presents?
I mean, we'll get to them at some point, probably.
It's going to be another rough week. And one of our leagues, some guys were like, hey, since everything's just going to crap, should we just split the pot? And I'm torn. I told him, I said, realistically, if I don't come in first, for sure, but I'll feel guilty. If I come in first, I'll be ticked because I didn't win all the money.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's a tough decision.
Yeah. So I did it with my brother once and he won. So I don't feel as bad. So luckily he doesn't listen to the show. So he doesn't know how bad I don't feel. So really quickly, it's in the spirit of the season, we are going to look for some Christmas presents here. What do we want to find under the tree as we go through each of these games? Hopefully we're going to find some interesting presents. You know, those things that you got for Christmas and you open them up, you're like, what the heck is this? This is garbage. Then you're like, wow, that was my favorite toy growing up. Let's see if we can find a couple of those toys this week. I'm going to hit a couple of games probably over the next looks like about 8 to 10 minutes. We'll look through and see what we got here as we go through. So we're going to jump. How did the Colts get 2 weeks of Saturday games? That's really, really messing me up because I have Carson Wentz as my backup to Lamar, and I don't want to play Carson Wentz again because he doomed me. But
So should I play Carson Wentz or Justin Fields?
Well, that goes to my question. Which teams will show up? If you're desperate, should you play Wentz after Goff exploded last week? Is that a sign that Wentz could have this week and it's going to be a passing game versus Arizona's apparently terrible pass defense?
I think Wentz is going to be all right this week. I would go with Wentz over Goff. I would
too.
Oh yeah, he's not playing, but yeah, I mean, like I got Wentz. I'm debating on whether or not to play him as a QB2. I think he's going to have an all right game. I don't think he's going to have an explosion, but I think he's going to have a solid game where he won't kill you.
Yeah, I think I might have to start him over Tua because Tua gets New Orleans, and they just stopped Tom Brady. And Tom Brady's a little bit better than Tua. Not much, but just a little bit. So, I almost made it. So, hey, here's a saving grace. Here's a present. If you're in Tampa, what present are you opening this week? What's your big present coming back with his make-believe? Do you think AB is going to be a nice present for Tom Brady to open this week?
I mean, he's got to be. I mean, every time he's been in the game, he's always been a present for Tom Brady. Tom Brady loves that guy. Now, Tom Brady's got his 2 favorite players in the world to pass to and nobody else. So, I mean, both these guys are going to eat.
Oh, it's going to be
fire him up.
AB over 125 yards.
It's possible. Maybe over 200 yards. Tom Brady's going to be mad.
Brady is decked. It's gonna be nasty. If you see a present under your tree that says Bills versus Patriots, do you want to open that, or is it gonna be terrible again?
Well, it's probably going to be terrible. But what needs to happen is Josh Allen needs to be Josh Allen and take the next step and beat these guys. Like he needs to dominate. He needs to have one of his big Josh Allen games. His 35, 40-point explosions and just. The Bills just need to run over the Pats to prove a point here. That's what's got to happen.
This next present, I think, is going to come wrapped in like newspaper, but you're going to open it and go, whoa, this is like an Xbox. Jets and Jags. Which of these teams would you hope to be in that box? And which players do you think you could pull out of that present?
Well, I'd love to pull Trevor Lawrence out of the box. I mean, it probably doesn't mean much now, but I'd like to have Trevor Lawrence just have one really good game to like showcase his skills. And where does everybody showcase their skills?
New York.
So let's go.
ETS, Jets. I tell you what, I think the best news I'm hearing for Trevor Lawrence in the future is Byron Leftwich. They need to hire Byron Leftwich. I love this play. That's the rumor coming. He's like the hot. I mean, he is coaching Brady, so it makes him look good. But he's the new hotness.
Well, yeah, I was about to say that. He looks really, really good now because he's playing with Brady. So we'll see. I think it'd be a good idea. I would like that. I'd go for that.
Yeah, so let's open a present that's it's kind of like getting underwear. You open a Davis Mills. But your underwear are just tidy whities. They're not boxers because there's no Brandon Cooks.
They still work.
Like those tidy whities?
I mean, if I got to, I got to.
Yeah, it's did I mention on Tuesday's show that Davis Mills looks like my brother?
You did mention that.
I was gonna say it just still cracks me up 2 days later. So we're going on to one we mentioned earlier with we're going Baltimore and Bengals. It's always a bruising game. Let's assume that Lamar's out. We're not going to worry about the Ravens because basically it's Mark Andrews, right? You open a striped Bengal present versus the Ravens. Is it going to be Joe Mixon in the running game or Chase with his 3 yards and Higgins and Burrow in the passing game?
I say it's going to be a pass. I say it's going to be the passing game. That's actually it's been really tough. It's like you said, they don't parties in their COVID. I read that. That was funny. But I think the passing game will show off a little bit more here. I'm not sure how's Baltimore against the run game. Are they
They're Baltimore, so they're always
Yeah.
good on defense, but they've given up some stuff this year both ways, and it's just a frustrating. Basically, Baltimore would have 2 more wins probably if they didn't go for it on the last 2 seconds of the game. So it's hard to tell.
I
But
prefer Chase to have a big game, so I
me
want him to
too.
throw the ball more.
I
That's what I
no,
prefer.
my Chase team's done. I don't care anymore. But the note y'all missed, we're both laughing because I wrote in there. There's a story came out that Burrow's like, yeah, the reason we're not having the COVID is because we're not out at the clubs all week partying and stuff. So, hey, maybe if you're a playoff team, you might want to be listening to that if that's what they're not doing. And really, we haven't missed any big names there. It's been very minimal, but I guess there's not a lot to do in Cincinnati. Is all that I can guess.
Yes, sir.
Couple of presents you don't want. We're gonna spend about 3 seconds going. Ugh. If you get a present that says Bears Seahawks, don't even watch it. Like the 4 o'clock games on Sunday are terrible. Then you got the Broncos Raiders. Drew Lock's gonna start, and then Waller probably won't play again. So if you see those presents and you got those guys with Lockett still on the list, ew. Will Fields eat though? Would Fields be poking his head out of that present saying, "Take me"?
God, I
Or
hope so.
close the lid?
Fields has looked okay. I mean, he hasn't looked. I don't want to say he hasn't looked, but he's looked better. Like from the where he's been at the beginning of the year to right now, it's like a totally different quarterback. I just want to see some glimmers of hope here with these guys. Like maybe you just tell me there's a chance. That's all I want. Tell me there's a chance.
I think that's going to be a good discussion to have in the offseason is if you have some capital, would you invest some of your draft capital to get some of these guys that aren't as high? Would you go like Fields isn't looking strong. Lawrence isn't looking great. Like they've had a couple flashes, but would you see if you could find one of those coaches and give up?
Do you really? I don't know. Do you really think you're going to be able to get any of those guys on the cheap? I mean, maybe somebody's giving up on them, but man, that's got to be a real bad fantasy player right there.
That's how I got. Remember, I got Chubb and Barkley and a couple guys who aren't. Barkley's not been stellar, but Chubb's been great for it because some guy was mad at him because
Fadley did give up on Barkley real quick.
Yeah. So yeah.
But to be fair, Barkley hasn't done much.
Not been great, but Chubb was the one I got. Chubb was the one that was interesting.
So who really won that one?
Nobody. So you see your stockings hung by the chimney with care, and in one stocking you see Zeke's head poking out, like in the Salvation Army 10. In another stocking, you see Pollard poking out. And in the third stocking, there's your boy Gibson. You get to take one stocking home with you. Which stocking in the Washington-Dallas game do you want?
On a normal day, I would say Gibson because I've been such a huge fan. But at this point in time, I don't have Gibson on any of my fantasy teams here. So I would hope Pollard would just have just a big, surprise game, maybe 100 yards and a touchdown. That'd be the best present of the year. I love it.
Because they're not going to key on him if there's no quarterback again, right? So that'll be a problem.
Plus Zeke is terrible. So why are we even giving that guy the ball?
You know why? Because he's getting 50 yards and a touchdown every week. That's called steady. And it
takes him 20 carries to get there.
Hey, it still gets me. I get a 0.1 per carry, 6 points for a touchdown, and normal yardage. So I'll take it. But now we need to go to the most important game of the week. The DJ Dub special, the Miami Dolphins Monday night versus the New Orleans Saints. Am I going to get any presents this week during this game? Waddle returns. Am I going to open my how many catches could he have against the tough New Orleans defense? Are they going to shut him down, or because their offense is going to be run by a rookie who hasn't suited up, or is it going to be bad?
I want to talk more about this rookie. I think this rookie's going to explode onto the scene, right? Now, I really hope that. Honestly, I really hope that does happen. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
I got Jameis. I don't hope that happens.
but yeah, I think Waddle's probably going to have a lot of catches. I mean, Tua really likes him. He's getting 11 targets a game. Fantastic. Feed the guy the ball. I enjoy it. I'm a big fan. You would think Ian Book back there, they're going to let Kamara run a lot, catch a lot. That's been pretty much the playing for the Saints. But hey, I'm a fan of Book. I got him in the league. You really need him to I need some luck somewhere, right? You need luck somewhere to happen. In order to get better, you need a lucky move.
That would be the luckiest move of all. If Ian Book goes as bonkers as you want him to go, you might want to consider a trip to Vegas for New Year's, because this game is going to be 6-3.
I mean, I'm going to start him in that league that I have him into. Just
because you're playing for Dumpster Bowl, right? Did you already lose that bowl?
I don't know.
But
I don't know. I'm not really playing for anything at this point, I guess.
Like, this is going to be horrible. Oh, well, no, probably not. After the Brady Bowl demolished, this is going to be like 42-38. Just something to screw us up.
You know what? I'm starting Ian Book this week. Let's go.
Oh, I love to hear it. And Waddle just triggered something in my mind. When we last talked on Tuesday, I had a game where I was the 6th seed at 6-8, and I was up by 25. I had Smith and he had Cooper Kupp. I'm out of the playoffs. And all because Waddle got COVID.
Yeah, I lost to a 6-8 team this week too, man.
No, I was the 6-8 team. I should have won.
I lost to the 6-8 team.
It was a terrible ending.
Yeah, playoffs suck.
It is what it is. It's a rough week, but it's Christmas. We have football. If you listen to this Thursday night, I'm gonna have the show out by like 8:00 Thursday before the game. It'll be here all over Christmas. So you might have seen Thursday. I'm speaking of coming back. You either are hearing he's coming back in about 10 minutes, or you heard he came back. Mr. AJ Brown is back this week off the IR. I got him off waivers, and I'm starting him, and hopefully that pans out well for me.
Good luck with that. He's gonna probably gonna pull up another hammy. He's gonna hurt something again. Man.
Oh, it was him or McLaurin. So what are you gonna do?
I probably go AJ Brown. Yeah, right.
So as we wrap up here, we will hear some wisdom from JJ Wang here to send us into week 16. We figure you're gonna be too busy opening presents, so we're a little shorter this week, which is totally fine. But don't forget to click on my kids' Salvation Army. They are rocking it. They're loving it. They want to do a amazing Christmas happy dance to support all the kids. They can support the Salvation Army. But JJ Wang, give us something. Give us some hope. That's all we want.
I don't know if it's by hope, but actually, you know what? It's not hope at all. Like, you brought up Terry McLaurin. I'm just so disappointed. I'm not a Washington football team fan at all. And now I'm like a huge Gibson fan. I've turned into a huge McLaurin fan, and they both turned out to be poopers.
It was Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick was the cog for me that rolled that team.
I guess that's true. I was high on Fitzpatrick. I thought he was going to do great things, but they really let me down. I don't know if I could be a fan of them anymore. I'm gonna go back to hating them, I guess. But anyway, as always, trust yourself and trust the process.
Ho, ho, ho.